I think the difficulty with that is that you buy these systems as kind of point solutions. So you buy an integrated laboratory system and it manages the laboratories very well. You buy a patient management system and it manages the referrals and appointments and processing of patients through hospitals very well. You buy a digital imaging system and it enables you to use x-rays through technology rather than having traditional film and light boxes on the wall. But the challenge we face is integrating them and making the workflow work that sits between those systems. And that requires systems that are based on workflow rather than transactions. And it requires people to change the relationships that exist between departments. So I'll use the example of how we order x-rays. We order x-rays at the moment, or we have traditionally ordered x-rays through a paper form. That paper form leaves the ward and is collected by a porter and is typically taken to the x-ray department, at which point somebody reviews those forms and prioritise patients accordingly. And on the basis of that prioritisation invites the patient along to the x-ray department to be processed through there to create a result that is then sent back in a paper form to the receiving clinician. Now, those form-based systems have a logic that is embedded in the way these people have been trained to work. So it's a very linear process, you know. Form goes in, person is scheduled to appear, they're processed, they're resulted, and they go back to the ward, and the form is there to be held and manipulated and annotated and passed on to somebody else. We found that as we try to introduce an electronic system to do all of that annotation potential is not there. And therefore the traditional methods of throwing a bit of paper in front of your secretary and saying, could you make sure that Mr Wright is now processed through the next stage of the process, is not available in some of those kind of island systems that we've purchased. So having bought those islands and having introduced them very successfully, we're now trying to do that kind of horizontal integration at the level of workflow. And workflow systems in health are not that prevalent at the moment.